Good morning. This is day 20, and this is 28 Sparks to Catch Fire. I am Viola, and this is Viola Ignites. Thank you for joining me. Today is the second day of our look at the mouth gate. And today we want to make it a little more practical. Some gates you should be aware of as it concerns your mouth, which ones to keep shut, which ones to keep your eyes out on, and which ones to open on a daily basis. Yesterday, we talking about the mouth, the ways in which the mouth would either accelerate what you're building or create the drag that will keep you slow, keep you stuck, keep you stagnant, keep you dragging. Your mouth needs a gatekeeper. Our mouths need gatekeepers. And a gatekeeper's job is very simple. A gatekeeper lets in, a gatekeeper throws out, a gatekeeper opens, a gatekeeper shuts, a gatekeeper keeps watch over. We want to play a more active role as it concerns our mouth gates. And I'm suggesting three specific things. I'm suggesting that we close three specific gates and we open one specific gate deliberately. Now, I have to come up with some names for these gates, so bear with me. I give you full permission to rename them in the way that makes sense to you. All right, so yesterday, the spark was for you to review your pattern of speech and make an assessment in terms of whether or not you're a reporter or a builder, whether or not you were spending the majority of your time describing what was happening, or you were being deliberate in spending words to create or construct a new reality, a different reality. Okay. And I think I would not be surprised that most of us realize that we've been a reporter, that most of us spend the majority of our words on every single given day reporting and talking about what's happening, describing what's happening. So most of us have been filing accurate dispatches about this is what's going on, right? From our circumstances, from our world, right? From our families, from our situations, which is exactly what we want to move and pivot away from as we consider this season and as we consider our callings. All right. We want to be more deliberate about spending the creative power that our mouths have been endowed with in a strategic way, okay, on a daily basis. Now, remember from yesterday, just a quick review in case you are listening to this before you listen to yesterday's episode. Remember that we said a reporter is going to be describing the problem, describing the circumstance, describing the challenge, describing. But a builder is going to be constructing the solution. All right. And that's the major difference that we made yesterday. But today I want to add this little piece to it, which is that you can't be reporting and building at the same time. Both of them take tremendous energy. And because I think for most people by default, they're just going to be reporters. When you're making the switch and saying, I want more of my words to go towards construction, you want to focus on that. Let's talk about three gates. Number one, the first gate that I want us to think about, I'm calling it the contradiction gate. The contradiction gates. I want you to think about it this way. I want you to understand that your mouth has limited bandwidth. Our mouths have limited bandwidth. So every sentence is either constructing or it's describing. And here's what most of us do. We wake up in the morning or at the start of the year, since we're still in mid-February, let's use the start of the year. You wake up, you wake up as a builder. You wake up building, okay? Your vision is clear. Your faith is active. You're ready. And then stuff begins to happen, right? Challenges, fatigue sets in, conflict set in, difficult stuff begins to happen. And all of a sudden, before you realize it, what's coming out of your mouth is reports, is descriptions, right? Is I never finish when I start. Things don't go well for me. like my own things are always like this. There's always an obstacle. Before you know it, you're just filing reports. It's complaint after complaint after complaint. Before you know it, you're just describing the hindrance, the obstacles. Before you know it, you're identifying with the challenge, with the impossibility. Before you know it, you're talking like, oh, maybe it's not really for me. Okay? Oftentimes, this behavior is even sincere. Like we actually think we're being honest. And we might even think that it is harmless. Okay? We might even be deluded enough to say, oh, I was just venting. I just needed a good vent. But what you have done is that you have just taken concrete and poured it over the foundation that you were building in the morning. You were building in January. Okay? You were building with your excitement. James 3, verse 10, it says, out of the same mouth comes praise and cursing. This ought not be so. Can both fresh water and salt water flow from the same spring? A spring that produces fresh water one moment and salt water the next is a spring nobody can drink from. Just let that imagery settle in your mind. That your stream of speech is a spring. And if 1 minute it is salt water and the next minute it is fresh spring water, put together, nobody is going to be able to drink that. If 1 minute is construction and the next minute is destruction, you're never going to have a building. You're never going to move past that initial construction phase. You're going to perpetually have a construction site with nothing to show for it. Okay. So the contradiction gate has to close. All right. Yes, I know you're very honest and you tell it the way it is. I know that that's your brand. But in this season, I just want to admonish you to focus and to pay attention to your words and to pay attention to this contradiction gate. Shut the contradiction gate. All right. Your job in this season is to see anytime this gate is trying to be open and to keep it closed. Keep it closed. Keep this gate closed. I'm not saying that you should in no circumstance describe your situation, right? To your therapist, to your coach, to your friend. I'm certainly not suggesting that. I think that there is a way. But when you're speaking over your own life, when your calling is listening, you need to be careful. Check yourself. Check the substance and the majority of your words. Where are they going? When you're talking about your future, when you're talking about your calling, when you're talking about where you're headed, when you're talking about the dreams that have been placed in your heart, where is the majority of your speech going? And I'm saying to you, you've spent the last 30 years describing. You've spent the last 45 years describing. You've spent the last season describing. And now it's time to spend some time building. So take a pause from the descriptions. Okay? Okay. That's what I'm saying. Second, and we're only doing 3. Number 2, I want to ask you to close the destruction gate. Okay? And it just follows from what we've just been talking about, that so often what sounds like honesty is like a wrecking ball. I mean, it starts off as, I just want to tell it like it is. I just want to be really honest. I just want to let you know the situation, let you know what's happening. That's how it sounds and it starts off. But before you know it, you are saying all kinds of things, all right? You're literally speaking curses over yourself in the name of, I just want to be honest. And in this season, do not do that. Okay? Do not do that. Be careful how you're using your words, your own words, to speak about yourself, to speak about your potential, to speak about your capacity, to speak about your future, to speak about your calling, to speak about what you're mantled and mandated to do, to speak about your purpose. Be very, very careful with your words in this season. Okay. I mean, and I understand because I'm around a lot of women. All right. So I understand there's nuance here, and I'm trusting intelligent, faith-filled women will be able to pick up the nuance and rightly discern and apply this to their lives in this season, right? I'm saying you want to be careful that you're not using your words to dismantle your building, that you're building brick by brick. Okay. You want to be careful now. Okay. So those kind of statements that are just sweeping. Okay. These kind of things have never worked out for me. Nobody around me has ever, that kind of language, always, never, ever. Be careful, not in this season. We want to make sure that we are not opening the destruction gate. The third gate is the construction gate. This is the one gate that you have to determine to open daily. Look, it's very easy. Take your phone, set an alarm, and have your construction task order that you can either read to yourself when that alarm goes off, or you could do it like a voice note that you can play to yourself. You could create a routine around this. When you're going to the gym, you listen to your benediction. Okay. What is a benediction? It's good words. Bene, good, diction, speech, right? Set an alarm and listen to it at the same time every day. Give yourself a task order because this is a construction site. So the third gate is the construction gate. And I'm saying you want to open the construction gate every single day. Like your mouth needs a construction order every single day. So we're not going to chance it. We're going to set an alarm to speak the construction orders for the day, every single day, before the circumstance arrives, before the obstacle arrives. Our mouth is loaded with what could answer that circumstance, what could answer that challenge, what could answer that problem. Okay. So get into a habit where on a daily basis, you are speaking some task orders. You are doing some construction with your mouth, because if you don't schedule it, you're not going to build the kind of house you want. So that's my recommendation. Open the construction gate every single day. All right. So I am building momentum towards my calling today. I'm a woman who finishes what she starts. I'm a woman who finishes what matters. I'm a woman who is creating conditions for my assignment to emerge. The point is, open the construction gate daily. If you don't purpose to decide what the construction order is in this season, it's not going to happen. You have done it one way for 30 plus years, 35 plus years, 40 plus years. It's not because this makes sense that you're going to do it differently. You're going to do it differently because you plan to do it differently. Planning to do it differently is going to mean you sit down, you take some time, you write it out, you set the alarm in your phone so that at that time you make it happen. Okay. But I think you get the picture, and I think you get the point. So starting today, the biggest takeaway here is quite simple. Write some construction orders for yourself. Set an alarm and commit to it. Do it for 45 days. Do it for 90 days. All right? If you can read it every day, that's just very powerful. It changes your results. It changes your mindset. It changes your heart. And it has the power to pull you in the direction of your calling. All right, that's it for today. Tomorrow, day 21, we are going to wrap this up by talking about the command center of the heart. So the inputs of the eyes, the inputs of the ears, the outputs of the mouth, and how all of that stuff finds itself in our hearts. the place we're told to guard with all diligence, because out of which flows all the issues of our lives. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. And thank you so much for listening. Bye bye.